Hello, everyone. Yes, it is that time once again. So glad you could stop by and visit our little sliver of the internet. Today, we are looking at another independent horror anthology film called Tales of Frankenstein. Yes, Tales of Frankenstein. We get 4 tales that are all Frankenstein related and are written and directed by Donald F. Glut. Now, this anthology is interesting because each 4 of these stories take place in a different time period, and they do have one connective tissue to it in the form of a picture, and I loved how they worked it into each story. Even though they're self-contained, it kind of did put them all within the same universe, though they don't reference prior stories. So I like that. They're self-contained stories, but they do have that connection, kind of similar to the way some of the Tales of the Crypt movies and Tales from the Dark Side handled it. Now, with the direction we have in here, most of these are lighter in spirit. They do have horror elements involved in some creepier moments as well, but definitely have that spirit of Creepshow and Tales from the Crypt and all that. Really have that kind of tongue-in-cheek most of the time, and you can tell they're just having fun making this story. Now, the first story you get is My Creation, My Beloved, which is pretty much a straightforward Frankenstein story. Here we get the tale of the creating of a human being, okay, and it's got a little nice twist to it at the end. Actually, all 4 of these have some really interesting twists to them and a bit of a different take than what you might expect, especially for the direction of the story to go. I liked the period piece for My Creation, My Beloved. It felt like it was in the period. Always hard for indie films to do that, but here it did feel like it was set in the period it was supposed to be, and the characters that they have in here are definitely interesting and will keep your attention. And the story as well, as you try to figure out exactly how this is going to play out. Now, Crawler from the Grave is a great different take with the whole theme of Frankenstein's theories and how that's carried out. There was only one part of this short that I didn't care for. Otherwise, there is a very unique story here. Very different than what we're used to seeing involving Frankenstein. This one involving a married couple and a neighbor who collects things. And yeah, this one really just, it felt like it could have easily been pulled from Tales from the Crypt, and a lot of fun. And the only part that I didn't like there is a bit of CGI in here that I kind of wish they would have went practical for, but still some great makeup effects and some great practical makeup as well, and props. But there is a bit of CGI, or compositing, I should say, which I wish they hadn't quite done, because that was the only bit of this entire anthology that I found a bit distracting. But other than that, another solid story as well. Then Madhouse of Death is a noir tale, and that one, I had no idea where they were going with it. I love noir, and so this was right up my alley, and it took me a little while to get used to the main guy doing the voiceover, Mr. Anvil, but it really felt like it's pulled from a pulp story, and it's also got that kind of pulpy ending to it. So a lot of fun here. Interesting characters for the madhouse, and the doctor is also just wonderful. And then finally, we've got Dr. Karnstein's creation. And this one, again, another unique tale. All 4 of these I had not actually seen presented before in Frankenstein stories, or stories involving the theory, of Frankenstein, his notebook, whatever you want to call it, pulling people together, pieces of people together and raising them from the dead. This one had a great twist because it makes reference to another classic creature. And so I didn't see where this one was going for a while. The character they got for Dr. Karnstein, Jim Tavares, I thought he did fantastic. I murdered that name. I apologize. He really throws you off, his character, for what actually is going to happen. And all four of these are very entertaining, have great spirit. They move along nicely, well edited. The production design varies from high end to a little bit rough in spots. You could tell it was done on lower budgets for some of these short films. Not distracting at all, but you could tell with the minimal sets and such that they had. But they make the most of what they have, and what they have here is a very entertaining anthology film, especially if you're into Frankenstein stories. You're going to want to check this out. So I'll put as much information as I can down below. I believe it's out for streaming now on Amazon, so you can check it out there while you are quarantined. And yeah, please check out our Patreon if you haven't already. We got a lot of great stuff there for very little cost in our tiers. Subscribe here to keep up on all the great stuff we got coming. I thank you for your support. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay in your house. And until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.